Welcome, fight fans, to a night that electrified Chicago, UFC 319 at the United Center. After years away, the UFC's return brought an energy you could feel from the first punch to the final bell. The card was stacked, legends, champions, and hungry contenders all ready to make history. The crowd's roar pushed every fighter to their limit, creating an atmosphere that was pure adrenaline. This wasn't just another event. It was a celebration of MMA's heart, drama, and unforgettable moments. UFC 319 reminded us all why we love this sport. The main event was a dream matchup. Middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis versus the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Both entered with massive win streaks, making this a rare clash of titans. Du Plessis, the proven champion, faced Chimaev, the unstoppable force, in a battle of styles and wills. The Chicago crowd roared for Chimaev, the betting favorite, but Du Plessis stood unshaken. This was more than a title fight. It was a collision of legacies, with both men aiming to define an era. Striker versus grappler, champion versus phenom. The stakes couldn't be higher. The world watched to see whose will would break first. This was the kind of fight that shapes the future of a division. Dricus du Plessis entered with a 23-2 record and a perfect 9-0 UFC run. He'd already beaten the best, Strickland Adesanya, and defended his belt with grit and heart. His awkward, relentless style keeps opponents guessing, but his true weapon is mental toughness. Years of mental coaching forged his unbreakable mindset, letting him thrive under pressure. Always the underdog, Du Plessis uses doubt as fuel, carrying the pride of South Africa into every fight. He's a versatile finisher, knockouts, submissions, decisions, making him a nightmare for any challenger. Against Chimaev, he faced the odds again, determined to prove he's the undisputed king. For Dricus, every fight is a chance to silence doubters and build his legacy. Khamzat Chimaev arrived undefeated, 14-0 overall, 8-0 in the UFC. From his debut, he smashed opponents with dominant wrestling and knockout power. His relentless ground game drew comparisons to Khabib, but he's dangerous everywhere. Chimaev's meteoric rise included wars with top contenders and wins in 2 divisions. This was his first title shot, a chance to become only the 3rd undefeated middleweight champ in UFC history. The pressure was immense, but Chimaev thrives on it, entering as the favorite with the crowd behind him. For him, this fight was destiny, a chance to fulfill the hype and claim his place among the greats. He believed no one could stop him, not even the champion. This main event was about more than gold. It was about legacy. For Du Plessis, a 3rd title defense would cement his place among the division's all-time greats. Beating an undefeated Chimaev would silence critics and prove his reign is no fluke. For Chimaev, victory meant joining the elite few who captured the belt without a loss. The stakes, history, validation, and the start of a new era. Both men fought for more than themselves. They fought for their place in UFC history. This was a turning point, a battle that would define how they're remembered. Only one could leave as a legend. The co-main event of the evening brought together 2 of the most talked-about names in the featherweight division. Lerone, the Miracle Murphy, who entered the Octagon with an unblemished record and a growing reputation for his technical brilliance, and Aaron Pico, a highly anticipated debutante, whose explosive knockout power and wrestling credentials had fans and pundits buzzing with excitement. This was more than just a fight. It was a collision of 2 distinct journeys, each fighter carrying the weight of expectation and the hope of making a statement on the sport's biggest stage. Murphy, ranked #6 in the world, is known for his sharp, precise striking and his calm, calculated approach inside the cage. He's a fighter who rarely makes mistakes, always looking for openings and capitalizing on his opponent's errors. On the other side, Pico arrived with a storied background in wrestling, a relentless work ethic, and the kind of raw athleticism that makes him a threat to anyone in the division. The anticipation was palpable as both men prepared, each determined to impose their style and prove they belonged among the elite. Once the cage door closed, the fight quickly became a chess match. Pico showcased his trademark aggression, launching powerful combinations and threatening with takedowns, but Murphy's experience and composure were evident. He slipped punches, countered with crisp shots, and managed the distance expertly, never allowing Pico to settle into a rhythm. The exchanges were fast and furious, with both men having their moments, but but it was Murphy's tactical awareness and ability to adapt that began to tip the scales in his favor as the rounds wore on. Over the course of 3 hard-fought rounds, Murphy's superior fight IQ and striking accuracy allowed him to outpoint Pico. The judges were unanimous in their decision, awarding Murphy the victory and solidifying his status as a legitimate contender in the featherweight ranks. His celebration was a mix of relief and quiet confidence, knowing he had passed one of the toughest tests of his career. For Pico, the result was a tough pill to swallow. Despite the loss, he showed flashes of brilliance and proved that he has the skills and heart to compete at the highest level. His debut may not have ended in victory, but it was a valuable learning experience, and he left the cage with his head held high, already thinking about how to come back stronger. With this win, Murphy moves one step closer to a title shot, his name now firmly in the conversation among the division's best. For Pico, the journey is far from over. He's already back in the gym, determined to refine his game and return to the octagon with renewed focus. Both fighters showed the kind of grit and determination that defines future champions. This bout was more than just a contest between 2 rising stars. It was a showcase of the razor-thin margins that separate victory from defeat at the top of the featherweight division. Every exchange, every adjustment, and every moment mattered, highlighting just how competitive and unpredictable this weight class has become. With new contenders emerging and established names being tested, the featherweight division just got a lot more interesting, and the road to the title promises even more drama ahead. The main card delivered fireworks beyond the headliners. Carlos Prates scored a highlight reel KO over Jeff Neal, breaking into the welterweight top 10. Michael Venom Page outclassed Jared Cannonier, using his elusive style to earn a clear decision. Kai Asakura, a former Risen champ, made a statement with a first-round knockout of Tim Elliott at flyweight. Each fight shaped its division, new contenders emerged, and established names were tested. Prates, Page, and Asakura all made their cases for bigger fights ahead. The main card balanced knockouts, technical battles, and rising stars, setting the stage for future title runs. UFC 319's action-packed lineup kept fans on the edge of their seats. The prelim set the tone for UFC 319, igniting the arena with a series of gritty, high-stakes battles that had fans on the edge of their seats from the very first bell. These early fights are more than just a warm-up. They're a proving ground where hungry prospects and seasoned veterans alike put everything on the line, fighting not just for victory, but for their place in the sport's ever-evolving landscape. In a standout lightweight clash, Drakkar Klose edged out the always dangerous Edson Barboza in a grueling war of attrition. Klose's relentless forward pressure and tactical clinch work wore down the veteran striker, earning him a hard-fought decision. The bout was a showcase of heart and strategy, with both men trading momentum and refusing to back down, but it was Klose's determination that ultimately made the difference. Meanwhile, Karine Silva delivered a statement performance in the women's flyweight division, avenging a previous loss to Dione Barbosa. Silva's improved striking and grappling were on full display as she pushed the pace, overcame adversity, and secured a hard-fought victory. Her win not only settled an old score, but also signaled her arrival as a serious contender in the division. Joseph Morales stole the spotlight with a spectacular submission win over the previously undefeated Alibi Idiris. Morales showcased his slick ground game and composure under pressure, locking in a fight-ending choke that forced the tap and earned him a coveted UFC contract. His performance was a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the octagon, and how one moment of brilliance can launch a career. Throughout the prelims, veteran fighters proved their worth, drawing on years of experience to outmaneuver and outlast their opponents. Their grit and savvy were on full display, reminding everyone that in MMA, experience is often the difference between victory and defeat. At the same time, a new generation of fighters seized the spotlight, making bold statements with fearless performances. These rising stars brought fresh energy and unbridled ambition, electrifying the crowd and signaling that the future of the sport is in good hands. The prelims became a showcase for the next wave of contenders, each bout carrying real stakes and the potential to reshape the rankings. Every fighter stepped into the cage with something to prove, and every victory felt like the start of a new chapter. These undercard battles set up future storylines and rivalries, laying the groundwork for the drama and excitement still to come. UFC 319's prelims proved that the sport's talent pool is deeper and more competitive than ever before, with every fight adding a new layer to the unfolding narrative. Before the main card even began, the future of MMA was on full display. Hungry prospects, battle-tested veterans, and unforgettable moments that reminded us why we love this sport. The journey to the top is never easy, but on nights like this, it's clear that greatness can emerge from anywhere on the card. As the lights dimmed and the final echoes of the crowd faded, UFC 319 left a lasting impact on every division. The event was more than just a night of fights. It was a turning point, a moment that will be talked about for years to come. Every punch, every submission, and every upset contributed to a new narrative in the world of mixed martial arts, setting the stage for a future filled with uncertainty and excitement. The champion's legacy is secure, but new challengers, like Michael Page, are already lining up, hungry for their shot at glory. The hunger in their eyes is unmistakable, and the energy backstage was electric as fighters prepared to seize their moment. Michael Page, with his unique style and undeniable charisma, has become a symbol of the new wave of contenders ready to shake up the established order. Khamzat Chimaev faces his first setback, a moment that stunned fans and analysts alike. But if history has taught us anything, it's that true champions are defined by how they respond to adversity. Chimaev's journey is far from over. His comeback will be must-watch, and the anticipation for his next move is already building. The road ahead will test his resolve, but it could also reveal a new level to his game. Lerone Murphy's win cements him as a featherweight threat, sending shockwaves through the division. His performance was a statement, a declaration that he's ready to take on the very best. Fans and pundits are now looking at Murphy as a potential title contender, and his journey promises to be one of the most compelling stories in the months ahead. Meanwhile, Carlos Prates and Kai Asakura continue their meteoric rise, capturing the attention of fans and experts alike. Their victories at UFC 319 were not just wins, they were statements of intent. Both fighters have shown they possess the skills, heart, and determination to climb the ranks quickly, and their next fights will be must-see events for anyone following the sport. The event created new stars, introducing fresh faces who seized the spotlight and made the most of their opportunities. These breakout performances have injected new life into the roster, and fans are already debating which of these rising talents could become the next household names. The Octagon has never felt more alive with possibility. UFC 319 also set up future title fights, as matchmakers wasted no time in plotting the next big showdowns. The tension between top contenders was palpable, and the negotiations behind the scenes are already shaping the next wave of blockbuster events. Every division now has new storylines and rivalries to follow. And for the fans, UFC 319 delivered more than just results. It gave them fresh matchups to dream about. The possibilities are endless, and the anticipation for what's next is at an all-time high. New rivalries have been born, and the road to the next event is already filled with speculation and excitement. UFC 319 was a triumphant return to Chicago, delivering drama, skill, and unforgettable moments that will be replayed for years. The city's energy fueled the fighters, and the crowd's passion elevated every bout to new heights. It was a night that reminded everyone why the UFC is the pinnacle of combat sports. Every fighter left a mark, whether in victory or defeat. The sacrifices made inside the cage were evident on their faces and in their exhausted bodies. These warriors gave everything, and their efforts will inspire the next generation of fighters to chase their own dreams. The consequences of UFC 319 will ripple through the sport for months, sparking debates among analysts, journalists, and fans. Every outcome has shifted the rankings and changed the landscape, ensuring that the aftershocks of this event will be felt in every corner of the MMA world. This night was a showcase of MMA's evolution and the relentless pursuit of greatness. From the technical mastery on display to the raw emotion in every fight, UFC 319 was a testament to how far the sport has come and how much further it can go. The next chapter of the UFC story is already being written, with new heroes, rivalries, and unforgettable moments waiting just around the corner. The future of the sport has never looked brighter.